Guys, this riff that I'm about to teach you is going to help you play tighter metal rhythms. And playing tight rhythms, I just dropped my pick, speaking of playing tight. Real quick before we get to the lesson, guys, I use the Dunlop Max Grip .88 picks. I used to use .60s, and I went to 70 something or another. Just switched to 88. I've used heavier picks. I don't like heavy picks, so I'm at this 88. I know a lot of you asked that, so there you go. Dunlop Max Grip .88. This is crucial, guys. We're going to get to this lesson. We're going to jump right in, but this is very crucial that you learn how to play tight riffs and rhythms. That's just the culprit of heavy metal music, and really any music if you think about it. That rhythm, what's got to be tight, okay? Those notes have to be articulated, and we're going to break this down, okay? So real quick, my Patreon supporters, you guys have the backing tracks and the tabs to this lesson, and if you're not on my Patreon, what I do real quick is I provide backing tracks and tabs to at least two of my YouTube lessons each month. So there is a link in the description of this video if you want to check that out. All right, so let's play the riff out in the open real quick, and then we're going to break everything down note by note. So here it is. Key notes, no pun intended. Well, the pun's always intended. So we are in the key of E minor, and we're going to be focusing everything around that E power chord, okay? And as you heard in the beginning there, it's very simple. We just hit that power chord, let it ring out, hit it again, and we start palm muting just like this. Easy way to start here. Real quick note. Oh, another pun. Stop, Jason. Anyway, so real quick, guys. A lot of times I'll just palm mute the single note. Sometimes I'll palm mute the power chord. It just really depends on the song I'm writing or what I'm playing, or sometimes just depends on my mood. But speaking of tightness, when you're palm muting, I prefer to palm mute single notes more than full power chords, because listen to this. If we were to palm mute the entire power chord, which is, again, just those two notes, sounds cool, but listen to the difference in regards to tightness when I just palm mute the one single note, the open E string. Okay, listen to the difference one more time. Okay, as you can hear, that single note is much tighter, and maybe when you're playing, just jamming, practicing, it might sound cooler for you to palm mute both strings of the power chord. I know I'm kind of getting off the lesson here, but I like to throw these little tips in, so I do hope they help you. When you're recording though, okay, if you're recording guitars, when you put that guitar in the full mix and you're adding more guitars on top of that, well, you may want to palm mute the single note, okay, because that's going to be tighter and it's going to fit tightly into the mix much smoother, okay? So again, just a very powerful note before we get into the actual riffs that we're about to learn here. And there's two killer riffs, so let's get to that right now. So this is a pretty simple riff in nature, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you which frets we're playing here. That breaks it down and it simplifies everything. Even though those fingers are moving a little fast there, when you hear how many notes, when you find out how many notes we're actually playing, well, it's not that many. It's really only 4, okay? We're going to be playing on the 5th fret, the 3rd fret, 2nd fret, and open string, okay? We're just doing some back and forths there, but that's it, just 4 notes. That simplifies everything, so now this next part is not going to be so difficult, okay? Here's what I'm doing, and I'm palm muting this, by the way. Now, I am alternate picking each one of those notes because we are going kind of fast here, okay? tell you what that power chord is in a second here, but we're just going 5, 3, 2, okay? Back to 3, back to 2. So just like this. After that, we're going to play the open string 3 times. And again, I'm alternate picking here because it keeps everything in a fluid motion, okay, if that makes sense. Now, from there, I play an F power chord, but I play a variation of the F power chord. And you can play the F power chord if you want. I just like to change things up sometimes just to get some different textures, if you will. So an F power chord would, of course, be that first string, first fret, second string, third fret. Instead, I'm playing 1 and 2, okay? First string, first fret, second string, second fret. I just like the way that sounds. I mean, again, you can use the F power chord, and I encourage you to use whatever you want. Like, what if you tried that first fret and left the second string open? Man, I think I might like that even better. But I only throw that out there to encourage you to come up with your own riffs and rhythms. Even if you're learning somebody else's song, like you're learning this lesson here, yeah, I want you to learn the notes, but I want you to immediately start branching out. What's going on up here in your head? Not all the weird and bad stuff. I mean, like musically, what's in your head right now? What are you hearing, right? What are you hearing as you play this riff? If you're hearing something else, I want you to push yourself in that direction. All right, let's get on with the second part of this, which everything is essentially the same. We go back to that E power chord, the palm muting there. Now, there's a little tricky part to this. Number one, we're not up here anymore, okay? Yeah, we got the power chord, right? We're palm muting, but then we start our riff down here. So it's a little different, right? If you're used to playing all your riffs in this area up here, and you start branching out to other places throughout the fretboard, well, that changes things up a little bit, which is why I'm throwing this in this riff here. I want you guys to expand, okay? We can easily get caught up into playing just the low area down here, and that's all we play. And of course, we're just playing most of the riffs on just one string here. All the riffs are just on one string. Of course, I want you to expand further and play those other strings, but we're keeping things simple for this lesson here. What I'm doing is the exact same technique here, right? We hit what? We played 3 notes, or 4 notes, I'm sorry. We had 5, 3, 2, 3, 2, then the open string 3 times. That same thing is going to be played the same way, just down here. So instead of the 5, 3, 2, okay, we're going to go 10, 8, 7, 8, 7, then open string 3 times. The cool thing is that open string part, that 1, 2, 3, that kind of gives us time to get back up here to play this chord. And I'll explain that chord in a second. It's another cool power chord variation, one of the chords I just love to play. So anyway, here's the riff. again, 10, 8, 7, 8, 7, open string 3 times, okay? Same exact pattern, and I'm calling it a pattern because it kind of is, right? Same exact pattern though. You're playing it the same way as you played this riff up here, okay? So the power chord that we go to, or the power chord variation I like to call them, is going to be an F sharp, but that next string we're going to play the 5th fret. So first string, 2nd fret, and it's a little bit of stretch here, so I use my pinky finger, 2nd string, 5th fret. And again, we're here, right? And you might think, well, man, you're here, but you got to go way back up here very quickly. Again, I like to throw things in when I'm writing music, and I write these riffs mainly just for YouTube. I might not ever even use this riff for anything except for this lesson here. But I like to throw stuff in, not to make it difficult. Why would I want to do that? What's the point? I like to throw things in to make the riff easier, right? So again, we're here, but then I go to that open 3 times. That gives me a little bit of time to go from here to here. This is something to think about when you're writing, and again, I'm going to elaborate more on this stuff in our guitar chat. Make sure you hang around for the guitar chat. We always have a cool time at the end of the lesson. So let's go through this entire riff one more time. I'm going to play it sort of at full speed, and I'm going to play it a little bit slower, okay? It is time for our guitar chat, guys, but first, if you do not have my Metal Riff Master guitar course, make sure you check that out. I know a lot of you watching right now, you already have that course. It has helped literally thousands of guitar players, of metal guitar players, really step up their game and play tighter metal rhythms like what we're doing in this video here. So do check that out. I also have 2 bonus modules that come with the course. One is on leads, and there's also a riff writing module as well. So check that out. There's a link in the description of this video. Now, if you're a beginner, you're just starting to play metal music, I've also got a beginner's course called Metal Guitar Apprentice. Both links for those courses are in the description of this YouTube video. There's one really important point I want to make in this video here, guys. I know we're moving those fingers around kind of fast here, and we're not really going ultra fast. I mean, the tempo, the BPM of this, I believe, is 147. And of course, you can throw in a dummy drum track and make it whatever BPM you want, right? You can change that tempo in your DAW, or if you've got a click track, or if you just have a metronome on your iPhone or something like that. Hey, you know, practice however fast or however slow you feel like you need to. But the point I want to make is that fast, complicated riffs do not necessarily equate to a better song. It doesn't necessarily equate to a better riff, in fact. Yeah, it's good to play fast. I encourage you guys to do that. Hey, it's cool. It sounds great, and it feels awesome when you nail that riff. It's like, man, okay, that has some complexity to it, but I nailed it. I got it. It's a great feeling, okay? It's challenging yourself, which I encourage, okay? But understand that every riff that you write and play, it doesn't have to be written at the speed of light. Again, this was only at 147, but the way we're moving those fingers around a little bit, well, it helps articulate those notes a little bit better, if that makes sense. I would much rather hear a metal rhythm at a little bit slower speed and hear those notes, really hear them punch and speak to me, than to hear somebody play just like blazing fast up and down the fretboard. And I'm like, okay, well, you did that. That was great, but I couldn't understand any of what you were playing, right? I have found that there is a happy medium between the two, right? I believe that both can coexist together, that you can play fast rhythms, okay? But you can also slow things down and really speak speak to the listener with your music. And I'm mainly talking about writing your own riffs at this point, guys, which again, I have a riff writing module in my course, Metal Riff Master, so be sure to check that out. That's one of the bonus modules, but I really think it's important to write your own riffs, right? Because you are a creator. That's what you do as a guitar player. I mean, it's okay to learn other people's songs. Yeah, fine, do that. I mean, I did that in my early years, man. I plugged in Metallica. Back then we had these things called cassettes. I know those are kind of ancient now. I think I might have even had a few LPs. This is back in like the late 80s. But in any case, yeah, I would pop in a tape, White Snake, Damn Yankees, Scorpions, had a few Metallica tapes. I'm just thinking of all the cassettes I had now. Man, going back way down memory lane. Queensryche, Operation Mindcrime, and Empire. Anyway, I had all those and many more, but I would pop those in. Of course, I would try to learn those songs the best as possible. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's not my song. Okay, I pulled it off, I learned, and it's a good learning tool. But at the end of the day, I would rather see your focus be on writing your own riffs. What is in here? Remember I said what's in your head, right? What's in your heart? What are you hearing? What's just really just wanting to come out? Again, learn the other stuff, but focus more time on writing your own riffs, because that's where I truly believe you step up your game as a guitarist and a musician, because now you're writing your own stuff. And again, like, I want to see what's in there. I want you to see, or hear rather, what is in there, what's inside of you. Hey, bring that out on your guitar. Pick this thing up, you know, learn the riffs I'm sharing with you, but what else can you do with that? Like, what if you played that riff up here, you know, the 3, 5, well, I'm sorry, 5, 3, 2, I'm getting my numbers, I can't count. What if you did that whole thing on the next string over, right? What would that sound like? What if you did it here? What if you did it here? What if you did it on G string? Just mess around with that. What if you went to a different power chord? What if you changed the variation up? Just allow yourself that freedom. And I've been talking about freedom a lot lately in my videos as a musician, as a guitar player. Allow yourself that freedom to branch out and just let go, okay? What is inside of you that you want to bring out on this thing right here on your guitar? So guys, that's what I wanted to leave you with. I hope this lesson helped you. I do hope it helps you play tighter metal. I'm having a hard time talking today. I need some water. Usually I cut that stuff out. And we're getting coffee next. Anyway, it will help you play tighter metal rhythms, and yes, that will equate to you playing faster metal rhythms, and that's awesome. I want you to do that, but allow yourself that freedom, okay, to just branch out and play the appropriate style of metal, whether it be fast or slow, depending on what's inside of you, what's coming out of you. It might be a power ballad one day, right? Well, none of that's fast, or it might be like this really fast Megadeth style type riff. In any case, guys, I think you understand what I'm saying. If you have any questions, please drop those in the comments. Guys, until the next video, always keep it metal. Oh, please give this a thumbs up, by the way, and make sure you're subscribed to my channel. I got that backwards today. All right, guys, keep it metal and keep playing music.